10 years ago, you would be put in prison and labeled a pedophile for this nonsense. Now, it's bringing your kids to twerk date with a transgender.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's up, YouTube and all my anonymous watchers out there? This is Rick with No Names Media, and once again, as always, I found something very interesting on the internet that I feel that I should share with you all. And quite frankly, I'm a little disturbed by having my image next to this sort of image you see over here. However, it's for the greater good, and so I'm willing to take that hit for it. So as you all may know and are fully aware of, it's this thing now called Story Time with Drag Queens. And it's exactly what it says it is. It's drag queens doing story times with kids. But what I found is that it's rarely story time, just simply reading books to children that these drag queens are doing. Some of the time, most of the time, not all of the time, what they're also doing is that they're engaging in these over-sexualized acts in the presence of these children as a form of being free, educating children about the different genders and about transgenderism. And it's just very unsettling and uncomfortable to watch an adult of any sexual orientation feel comfortable gyrating and doing sexual moves and motions in front of children. I don't know any sane adult who would say, yes, I would like that job to do these sorts of performances and actions in front of children besides pedophiles. That's just what this is. This is pedophilia. I don't care what gender or what classification they call themselves. When you're performing sexual acts, you're wearing overtly sexual costumes and you're having overly sexual conversations with children. That's pedophilia. It was once people were going to jail for this at one point, then all of a sudden it's about accepting everybody, and everybody has the right to be who they are and live within themselves and live their truth, even if their truth harms children. Now, in this video, this is story time with drag queens, but as you can see, at least from the parts of this video, everything is happening besides story time. It's stripper time with children. Now, I'm wondering, who is this for? Because you hear the adult looks like tremendous majority of all women and toddlers. Toddlers, because it is at this very young age where their mind becomes a sponge. I don't see any black women or men, which is good. You let white society keep that to themselves. You can have that. Black society, we have enough issues we need to worry about and that we need to fix within our own community that goes beyond sexually educating our children on the many different genders that they can classify themselves. That's the last thing we need to be focused on as a society. So I'm good. Let white people keep this. White people, you can have it. This is your thing. This is your creation. It's your agenda. Keep it to your goddamn selves. We don't want it. We don't need it. And it's very detrimental to be sitting up here preaching non-procreative sex to black children. Or any children for that matter. Even white children. And I feel really bad for these children. And embarrassed for them. And their parents should be embarrassed. I have absolutely no idea why parents of any child of any age would say this is a good idea. I want my child to be in the presence of an adult man gyrating himself in the presence of my child. Your responsibility as a parent is first and foremost to protect your child and to monitor and protect what goes into their brain, into their mind, into their subconscious, into their psyche. But it seems like these parents are getting a kick and fun out of destroying their children. Now, if these parents would send their child to events such as this to have these grown-ass men in costume twerking and gyrating their private parts in the presence of their kids, but swear up and down that they love their kids and they'll do anything to protect them. It's a lie. And it's very sad and it's criminal. These people should be in jail. This is child abuse. This is the sexual exploitation of a child. There was a time where even having certain conversations as an adult who has not been licensed and trained and signed off on by the parent, having even the sexual conversations with children will land your ass in jail. Rightfully so. That's grooming. And this is what this is. This is grooming. They're grooming their children to sexual activity at an age when they can't even say what they want for dinner. It's very sad and disturbing. So the video is 51 seconds long. I'm going to play it in its entirety. Then I'm going to come back and interrupt with my commentary, and we'll take it from there. It seems like the parents were getting much more of a kick out of it than the children, who looked at confused. And rightfully so. These are toddlers. Let me see if I can stop it on a wide angle shot. Lots of white women. Lots of white women. Lots of white babies. Lots of white babies and white women cheering this bullshit on. Why? What sort of education are you hoping your child gains from this? Are you hoping that your child learns how to twerk? Are you hoping that your child realizes that they can be male and dress as females? Are you hoping that your child learns to accept other people? What is your goal? What is the goal? Why would you introduce any sort of activity like this, which is extremely sexual in nature, meant for adults, in an adult place where children should not be allowed? Why would you voluntarily send your child there? And encourage them to watch. Why? What the fuck is going on? I don't get it. Part of me doesn't even want to be here anymore. In this country. Because it seems like this whole thing about accepting people who they are has got blown way out of proportion and into realms where it's illegal. Where laws and decency no longer matters. If you come across a grown-ass man who enjoys having sexual conversation with children and doing sexual acts in front of children, you want to whoop his ass because seriously, he has a problem. But if they wear a dress and makeup and they kind of look like a woman because of the costume they're wearing, it's okay? And pedophiles know that. Pedophiles know that they can get away with a lot more. It's simply if they say, I identify as a female. Or if they dress as a female. This is what it is going to. It's slowly easing in the acceptance of pedophilia, and to say that children have the right to consent to sexual activity. That's what they're trying to do. That's what they're doing with the whole medical thing about a child can choose their gender. If a child can choose their gender, then why in the world can a child choose who and when they want to have sex? They're slowly easing this stuff in, and it's disturbing. It's sad. And where the fuck are the fathers? How many of these women have men who are in their lives help raise their child and said, we're going to transgender story time today with the baby? And the fathers was like, that's a great idea. That's pretty cool. All right, honey, I'll be at work while you're out there traumatizing my goddamn child. How many? How many of these women are single? It's very sad and disturbing that, it's really sad and disturbing from a parent's perspective, watching these parents show this nonsense to their children, but it's extremely distressing and concerning to see that there are men who are willing to do this shit in front of children. That's the creepy part. That they like that job. They want who filled out the application in order to do that shit in front of children? Groomers, pedophiles. That's who. So this is all just is a slow way to trickle in pedophilia and and saying children have the right to consent to sex. That's all it is. That's what they're doing. Now, I don't care if you're a grown ass man who identify as a woman now and you dress as a woman and you like to strip. I don't care. Make your money. If it's consenting adults who wants to come there and pay you money to do it, that's what they like. That's what they like. I don't care. But I have a problem when you do that shit to children, and children don't have the right. Not one of these fucking babies had the right to say, I don't want to go there. The parents did. But these are going to be the same parents who are going to say, yeah, my kid has the right to choose what gender they wants to be, if they want to have sexual reassignment surgery, and my children has the right to consent to sex. How many of these parents, when their child turns 11, are going to sit up here and allow their child to date and have sexual relations with a 21-year-old? That's what I want to know. Is every single one of these parents who are taking their child to such an event like this going to recall this trauma that they inflicted and that they imprinted on their child when their child turns 11 and says, Mom, I have a girlfriend or a boyfriend who's 21 and I feel I have the right to sleep with them if I want to? How many of these parents will say no? How many of these parents will say yes? How many of these parents will even recall that they put that sort of thought into their child's head from events like this? They're going to be lost. They're going to be confused as to why Jenny and Timmy turned out the way that they did. Why is my daughter such a whore? Why is my son homosexual? Why is my child so promiscuous? They're going to be really confused. And these are women. So they rarely take accountability for their actions. Someone will remember this and say, and know inside that, man, I probably imprinted that on my child. But none of them, as women, going to take accountability and just say, yeah, I believe it was partially my fault because when they were younger, I was taking them to these sorts of events and it imprinted on my child. Women never take accountability for what they do. That's detrimental. But they want to take the credit for everything. It's very sad and disturbing. These people should be in jail. Even the parents need to have CPS called on their ass for possible child abuse because you don't know what's going on in them homes. And that's one of the reasons why I have a huge problem with non-black people adopting black children. Because this sort of behavior in non-black communities is rampant, especially in specifically white communities. This sort of sexual deviancy is pervasive and flourishes in their community. Pedophilia is huge in a white community. And so every time I see a white couple or a gay white couple or any even not a couple, even though just a white person adopt a black child, I have very strong reserves that that child is being taught and treated fairly and legally and not being abused and taken advantage of. I always have in the back of my mind that that child is facing and going through some deviant behavior in that home. And if you follow the news, more often than not, that's the case. But now, white people, I mean, look what they do to their own kids. Look what they do to their own kids. And when they adopt black kids, they're nothing but a paycheck and an experiment. Cut this shit out. This is illegal. This is illegal. This is pedophilia. This is child sexual exploitation at its finest for the world to see. And it's only permitted and allowed because nobody wants to tell these grown ass men, you can't be fucking twerking in front of kids. Stop it. Or you're gonna go to jail. I don't give a fuck what your truth is within you. That has no bearing on the outside world and the other lives of people who you are affecting. When your truth affects someone else's reality, then it's not the truth. You're imprinting your theory, you're imprinting your way of life on other people, which you don't have the right to do. I have the right to feel the way I feel, to believe the way I do, and raise my children how I feel they need to be raised. And you have the right to feel the way you do, dress how you want, and have sex however you want, classify yourself every way you want, but you don't have the right to gyrate and do all this other pedophilic shit in front of my children. And you're not going to make me feel bad about it. You're not going to sit up here and tell me I'm wrong and I'm closed-minded about it. You're a pedophile. What else are you going to say? That I'm right? Of course not. You're going to say that I'm wrong so that you can have open access to my child, and you won't. Don't give these people that right and the access to your goddamn children because you don't want to hurt their feelings. Because thinking about the feelings of your child should be number one. And think about the harm and the hurt they're going to cause your child if they get their hands on them and if they have access to them. These people should be in jail. And if you allow that shit, your ass should be in jail too. Thank you for joining me here at the No Names Media Studio. My name is Rick, goddamn.